Money has a way of making people show their true colors. I learned that lesson the hard way at my family dinner last night when my mother looked me straight in the eye and said, "Your value was always what you gave. Without that, well, we all have to be realistic. I'm Deborah. And until yesterday, I thought I was living the American dream. Financial consultant, corner office, the kind of success story immigrant parents love to brag about at community gatherings. What I didn't realize was that I'd become nothing more than an ATM with a pulse to the people I loved most. Another round of drinks, my brother Zachariah called out, waving his empty glass. We were at La Maison, the kind of place where even the water comes with a hefty price tag. My sister Alexis was showing off photos from her recent trip to Paris, the one I'd funded, of course. The suite at the Ritz was absolutely divine, she gushed, swiping through pictures on her phone. Though the concierge was a bit stuffy, probably because I asked them to arrange that last-minute helicopter tour. I smiled weakly, pushing my untouched salmon around the plate. The market downturn had hit my portfolio hard this quarter. For the first time in 10 years, I was feeling the squeeze. Nothing catastrophic, just temporary illiquidity. I'd been dreading this conversation all week, but they were family. They'd understand. Actually, I cleared my throat. I needed to talk to you all about something. My father Martin looked up from his phone, while my mother Victoria raised an perfectly shaped eyebrow. Zachariah was still trying to catch the waiter's eye. I'm having a bit of a cash flow issue this quarter, I said carefully. Just temporary, but I might need to pause some of the usual arrangements for a few months. The silence that followed was deafening. Alexis's phone clattered onto her plate. What do you mean, pause? Zachariah turned to face me, his expression darkening. The expansion plans for my startup are already in motion. We need that bridge funding next week. I'm sorry, I just can't right now. Maybe in a few months. What good are you now? He scoffed, cutting me off. I've got investors waiting. Real investors. I've already booked my wellness retreat in Bali. Alexis chimed in, her voice rising. The deposit is non-refundable. I looked to my parents for support. Mum was examining her manicure with sudden interest, while Dad became intensely focused on his wine glass. I'm still your daughter, I said softly. This doesn't change anything. Victoria finally looked up. Her lips curved in what might have been a smile, but felt more like a sneer. Oh, sweetheart, she said, reaching across to pat my hand condescendingly. Let's be honest here. Your father and I have always been proud of how you've supported the family. It's what good daughters do. But if you can't fulfill that role anymore... The mortgage payment is due next week, Dad added quietly, still not meeting my eyes. I sat there, stunned, as years of memories flashed through my mind. The $50,000 I'd given Zachariah when his first business failed. The legal fees I'd covered when Alexis got into trouble in Miami. My parents' mortgage payments, credit card bills, medical expenses, all paid without question because that's what family does, right? I think I need some air, I managed to say, standing up on shaky legs. Nobody moved to stop me. Outside, the summer air felt thick and suffocating. My phone buzzed, a text from Zachariah. When you're done with your little drama, we need to discuss the startup funding. Don't embarrass me in front of my investors. Another buzz. Alexis sharing her Bali retreat invoice in our family group chat, followed by a pointed, I expect this handled by Monday. My fingers trembled as I dialed the one person I knew would understand. Imran? It's Deborah. Remember those documents you helped me notarize over the years? I think it's time we took a closer look at them. His response was measured, careful. They always forget who keeps the receipts, don't they? I leaned against the restaurant's brick wall, watching happy families stroll past through blur of tears. 10 years of unconditional giving. And this was what it got me. A family's love measured in dollar signs and decimals. My phone buzzed again. A message from my mother. We're ordering dessert. Come back inside when you're done being difficult. And don't forget, your father's golf club membership renewal is due this month. I wiped my eyes and straightened my spine. Something cold and hard was crystallizing in my chest, replacing the hurt with something else entirely. They wanted to talk about money? Fine. Let's talk about money. 3 weeks of silence feels like an eternity, when you're used to your phone buzzing with financial emergencies every few hours. No more frantic calls from Zachariah about investor meetings. No more screenshots from Alexis of designer handbags she absolutely needs. Even my parents' constant stream of bills had dried up. I was at my desk, reviewing client portfolios, when my assistant Sadie knocked on my door. "Your sister's in the lobby," she said, her expression concerned. "Should I tell her you're in a meeting?" I shook my head. "No, send her up. It's time we talked." Alexis swept in, wearing new Louboutins, probably purchased with the money that should have gone to her share of our parents' utilities. She didn't sit down. "You're being ridiculous," she announced, dropping her bag on my desk. "This little tantrum of yours needs to stop. Mum's beside herself." "Tantrum?" I kept my voice level. "Is that what we're calling financial responsibility now?" "Oh, please!" Alexis rolled her eyes. "You've always been so dramatic about money, like it actually means something. We're family." "Exactly, we're family. Which is why I thought you'd understand when I needed a brief pause." "God, are you still on about that?" She started pacing. "Look, I had to cancel Bali because of you. Do you know how embarrassing that was? My Instagram followers were expecting content." I couldn't help but laugh. "Your Instagram followers? Right. What about the $175,000 you owe me? The money you promised to pay back eventually?" She stopped pacing. "That was different. I needed those things." "Different how?" "Because you're—" She gestured vaguely at my office. "You. This is what you do. You take care of us. It's your role." My phone buzzed. A group text from Zachariah. "Big opportunity. Need everyone on board. Family meeting tomorrow night. Connor has amazing expansion plans. 1.2 mans required. Deb, time to step up." Alexis's phone chimed with the same message. She smiled triumphantly. "See? This is your chance to fix things. Make it right. Make what right." I stood up slowly. The fact that I had one bad quarter after a decade of supporting everyone. "Don't be so sensitive," she snapped. "You know what your problem is? You've always acted like you're better than us, with your fancy degree and your corner office. But you're not one of us. You never were. You're just convenient." The words hung in the air between us. I felt oddly calm. "Get out of my office." "Excuse me?" "Get out." She grabbed her bag, face flushed. "Mum was right about you. All that money and still so desperate to belong. It's pathetic, really." After she left, I sat there for a long time, staring at nothing. Sadie appeared with coffee and a concerned look. "I heard," she said quietly. "Want me to pull up the files?" I nodded. We'd been maintaining detailed records for years. Every transfer, every promise, every IOU. All carefully documented and stored. Just in case. My phone rang. Imran. "I saw the group text," he said without preamble. "Zachariah's really pushing his luck." "They all are." I opened my laptop, where a folder labelled Family Financial Records held years of evidence. "Remember that trust document we set up in 2019? The one where we had everything notarized? Of course. They always forget who keeps the receipts." "You've said that before." "Because it's always true." He paused. "Are you ready to use them?" I clicked through files, bank statements, promissory notes, text messages promising repayment, years of financial abuse documented in pristine detail. "Not yet. Let's see what tomorrow's meeting brings." "Be careful," he warned. "Connor's involved now. That guy's shadier than a beach umbrella." After hanging up, I found myself looking at an old photo on my desk. Family vacation, 5 years ago. I'd paid for everything, flights, resort, activities. Everyone looked so happy, so grateful. My phone buzzed again. A private text from my mother. "Alexis told me what you said to her. After everything we've done for you, your father and I expected better. Everything they'd done for me." "Right." I opened my drawer and pulled out a particular document, a photo of a hotel receipt from 2019 with Alexis's drunken scrawl across it. "I'll pay you every cent back eventually, Alexis." Tomorrow, they wanted to talk about a $1.2 million loan. Fine. But this time, I had some terms of my own. I texted Sadie. "Pull everything we have, every receipt, every promise, every document. It's time." Her response was immediate. "Already on it. Want me to call Imran? Yes. Tell him to bring the paperwork we discussed last year. All of it. The family wanted a meeting. They'd get one they'd never forget. The cafe where Zachariah chose to meet was deliberately upscale, the kind of place where deals get made over $15 lattes. He and Connor were already there when I arrived, heads bent over spreadsheets, looking every bit the serious entrepreneurs they pretended to be. Sis! Zachariah stood up, arms wide, as if the last few weeks hadn't happened. Come, sit. Connor's got something amazing to show you. I took the offered seat, noting how they'd positioned themselves on either side of me. Classic pressure tactic. My brother had learned a few things from his failed ventures after all. Coffee? Connor pushed a cup toward me. Already ordered your usual. Zach said you like it extra hot. How thoughtful. I took a sip. It was cold. Zachariah spread out some documents. So, about that little cash flow hiccup of yours. Water under the bridge, right? Family sticks together through rough patches. Is that what we're calling it now? A rough patch? Look, Connor leaned in, all smooth confidence and expensive cologne. We've got investors lined up. Big players. They just want to see some family backing first. Shows confidence in the project, you know? And naturally, you thought of me. Who else? Zachariah grinned. You're the financial wizard in the family. Mum always says... What exactly does Mom say these days, Zach? He faltered slightly, but recovered quickly. The point is, this is huge. We're talking triple returns within 18 months. All we need is your signature on the loan papers. Connor slid a document across the table. Simple co-signing. The bank's already on board. Just need the final guarantor. I picked up the papers, scanning them slowly. 1.2 million. That's quite a number. It's nothing for someone like you, Zachariah waved dismissively. And think about what it means for the family. You'll be back in everyone's good graces. Mum will stop crying at night. Mum's crying at night. Heartbroken, he nodded solemnly. Says she doesn't recognize her daughter anymore. I reached for my bag, pulled out my own folder. Speaking of recognition, I found something interesting the other day. Remember this? I slid across a document from 3 years ago. A hastily written promise to repay $200,000 signed by Zachariah. His face darkened. Ancient history. We agreed that was a gift. Did we? Because I have the recording of our call where you specifically said, and I quote, I'll pay back every penny, I swear on Mum's life. Connor shifted uncomfortably. Look, Ms. Deborah, the past is... I'm not finished. I cut him off, pulling out more papers. Here's the trust agreement from 2020, the notarized loan document from 2021. Oh, and my personal favourite, the text messages where you promised to start repaying me once your crypto investment hit big. Zachariah's face had gone from red to white. You kept all that? I kept everything, Zach. Every promise, every IOU, every tearful phone call begging for just a little more. Those were private family matters. No. I stood up, gathering my things. Those were business transactions, and now it's time to collect. You wouldn't dare, he hissed. We're blood. Funny how that only matters when you need money. I turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and Connor? I had my team look into your previous ventures. Interesting pattern of bankruptcies you've got there. The SEC might find it fascinating. You're making a mistake, Zachariah called after me. The family won't forgive this. I stopped at the door. Forgive what? I'm just being a good businesswoman. Isn't that what you all wanted? Back at my office, Sadie was waiting with Imran. They'd been reviewing the final documentation all morning. How'd it go? Imran asked, though his smile suggested he already knew. About as expected. Is everything ready for tomorrow? He nodded, patting a thick folder. All the paperwork's prepared. Though I have to ask, are you sure about this? Once we start, there's no going back. My phone buzzed. A message from Alexis. How dare you threaten Zach? Mum's having a panic attack because of you. Another buzz. Dad this time. Your mother's beside herself. Is this how we raised you? Final buzz. Zachariah. You think you've got proof? Good luck proving anything in court, sis. Hope you're ready for war. I showed the messages to Imran, who simply raised an eyebrow. Send out the dinner invitations, I told Sadie. Tomorrow night? My house? Tell them I've made my decision about the loan. All of them, she asked. Every last one. I picked up Alexis's old hotel receipt with its drunken promise. It's time for a proper family reunion. And the envelopes? Imran gestured to the stack we'd prepared. I smiled. Make sure everyone gets one. It's only fair they know exactly what they owe. They arrived at my house in waves. Alexis first, wearing a conciliatory smile that didn't reach her eyes. Then my parents, Mum clutching her designer handbag like a shield, Dad hovering behind her like a shadow. Zachariah and Connor came last, all business suits and forced confidence. Lovely home, Connor commented, glancing around my living room. Very successful. Thank you, I smiled. The mortgage is quite manageable when you're not supporting 5 other households. Mum's lips tightened. Deborah, darling, there's no need for hostility. We're here to discuss Zachariah's wonderful opportunity. Of course. I gestured to the dining table, where places were set with elegant precision. At each spot lay a crisp, white envelope. Please, everyone take your seats. They settled in, exchanging glances. Sadie appeared silently with water and wine, then disappeared into the kitchen. I remained standing. Before we discuss any new ventures, I began, I think we should address some old business. Please, open your envelopes. Oh, for heaven's sake. Alexis rolled her eyes but reached for hers. Is this some kind of... She stopped mid-sentence, face draining of colour as she pulled out the contents. The others followed suit. The only sound was rustling paper and sharp intakes of breath. What is this? Dad's voice trembled as he held up his papers. That's a complete record of every dollar I've given you over the past decade. Loans, gifts, payments, all meticulously documented. The highlighted portions are your signed promises to repay. These mean nothing, Zachariah snarled, throwing his papers down. We're family. Keep reading, I suggested mildly. Page 2 shows the interest calculations. Page 3 outlines the legal consequences of default. Mum's hand shook as she turned pages. You kept records? Of everything? Every single transaction. Every tearful phone call. Every promise made. I pulled out my phone, pressed play. I swear, sis, just this once, I'll pay you back everything. Zachariah's voice filled the room. You recorded us? Alexis shrieked. In states where it's legal to do so, yes. One-party consent is a fascinating thing. Connor stood up. This is ridiculous. You can't possibly expect... Sit down, Connor. Your envelope contains something special. Documentation of every questionable transaction you've orchestrated with my brother. The SEC would love to see it. He sat. You have 30 days, I continued calmly. 30 days to begin repayment arrangements. After that, my lawyer files everything. And yes, it will all hold up in court. You wouldn't, Mum whispered. We're your family. Funny, that didn't seem to matter 3 weeks ago when you said my only value was financial. That's not what I meant. It's exactly what you meant. I finally sat down, facing them all. For 10 years, I've been your ATM, your emergency fund, your blank check. Now it's time to pay the piper. Dad found his voice. The country club will revoke our membership if this gets out. The country club I pay for? Yes, probably. Alexis was still scanning her papers, face growing paler. These amounts, this is impossible. I can't... Can't what? Pay back the money you promised to return? The funds you marked as gifts on your taxes? That's fraud, by the way. The IRS has been notified. You vindictive bitch! Zachariah stood up, face red. No judge will side with you. I'll tear these up right now. He grabbed his envelope, ripping it dramatically. Go ahead, I smiled. That's copy number 4. Imran has the originals in his safe. Would you like his number? He's expecting your call. The room erupted. Mum burst into tears. Dad stared at his hands. Alexis started hyperventilating. Connor was already texting frantically. This isn't what family does, Mum sobbed. No, I agreed. Family doesn't treat their daughter like a cash dispenser. Family doesn't disappear when the money runs dry. Family doesn't forge loan documents. Zachariah froze. What are you talking about? I pulled out one final document. The loan application you submitted yesterday. The one with my forged signature. The bank's fraud department is very interested in that. You're bluffing, he whispered, but his face had gone ashen. Try me. Silence fell. Heavy, suffocating silence. 30 days, I repeated, standing up. After that, everything goes public. Every document, every recording, every fraud. Your choice. You'll regret this, Alexis hissed, gathering her things. You'll die alone. Better alone than surrounded by parasites. They left in a storm of threats and tears. Mum's final look of betrayal, Dad's defeated shuffle, Zachariah's impotent rage. Only Connor lingered. You know, he said quietly, you're actually scarier than your brother said. Thank you. The SEC will be in touch. After they were gone, Sadie emerged with a fresh bottle of wine and 2 glasses. Well, that was something. It certainly was. I picked up Zachariah's torn envelope. Think they'll pay? They will when the lawsuits hit. My phone buzzed. Imran. Ready to file when you give the word. I looked at the family photos still hanging on my wall. Time to take those down. Send the first notices tomorrow, I texted back. No mercy. You really need to see this, Sadie said, bursting into my office with her laptop. She set it down, pulling up a series of documents. Remember when you asked me to dig deeper into Alexis's tax returns? I leaned forward, scanning the screen. Are these gift declarations? She's been reporting every penny you gave her as gifts to avoid tax liability, but look at her own records. Sadie clicked to another document. She's been recording them as loans in her personal accounts. Tax fraud. I sat back, a cold smile forming. Clear as day. There's more. Sadie pulled up another file. Remember that trust fund you set up for your parents' retirement? The one they insisted on having partial control over? Don't tell me. They've been siphoning money to Zachariah's ventures, against the trust's terms. My phone buzzed. Imran calling. Tell me you're sitting down, he said when I answered. What now? That loan application with your forged signature? It went through. Someone at the bank pushed it through despite the red flags. Want to guess who signed off on it? Connor has friends at the bank? Better. Zachariah's college roommate is a loan officer. They backdated everything to make it look legitimate. I put the phone on speaker so Sadie could hear. How much exposure are we talking about? The full $1.2 million. Plus they have already drawn down $300,000. But here's the beautiful part. They didn't know about the silent recording feature on your home security system during that dinner. My heart skipped. What did it catch? Zachariah and Connor discussing the forgery in your hallway bathroom. Crystal clear audio. Quote, she'll never know we faked her signature. By the time she figures it out, we'll be too big to fail. Sadie's eyes widened. Please tell me you're filing charges. Already drafted. But Deborah, there's something else you should hear. Imran's voice turned serious. I found something while reviewing the old files. Remember that call with Zachariah from 2019? The one where he begged for startup money? Vaguely? Why? He recorded it, probably trying to catch you promising something. But instead, he caught himself admitting to tax evasion and securities fraud. And because he made the recording, it's admissible evidence, I finished. No expectation of privacy. Exactly. He handed us a smoking gun without realizing it. My desk phone lit up. The reception line. Miss Deborah, your mother's here. She's quite insistent. I looked at Sadie, who nodded. Send her up. Victoria swept in moments later. Designer sunglasses hiding what were probably tears. We need to talk. About the trust fund fraud or Zachariah's forged loan? She froze. How did you... I know everything, Mom. Every transaction, every lie, every scheme. You don't understand, she began, removing her glasses. Her eyes were indeed red. Your father and I, we had no choice. Zachariah needed consequences, I cut her off. Instead, you enabled him, with my money. We're family. We protect each other. No, Mom. You protected him. At my expense. Every single time. She sank into a chair. What do you want? Everything documented in those envelopes. Plus interest. Plus damages. We'll lose everything. Like I lost my family's love the moment I couldn't write checks anymore? Her face crumpled. That's not fair. Neither was teaching me that my only value was financial. But here we are. My phone buzzed again. A text from Alexis. They're freezing my accounts. What did you do? Then another from Dad. The golf club cancelled my membership. Please, we can talk about this. And finally, from Zachariah. You think you're so smart? Watch what happens when I release those recordings of you promising to fund my business. I showed the messages to Imran. He actually laughed. Does he mean the recordings where he admits to fraud? Please, let him try. Mum was watching me, something like fear in her eyes. You were never supposed to fight back, she whispered. We never thought you had it in you. That was your first mistake. I stood up. You have 27 days left before everything goes public. I suggest you start liquidating assets. Your father will never forgive you. Dad hasn't had an original thought since 1985. He'll do whatever you tell him to. She stood shakily, dignity in tatters. Is this what you wanted? To destroy your family? No, Mum. This is what you wanted. You just didn't expect to pay for it. After she left, Sadie brought me fresh coffee. You okay? I looked at the family photo I'd finally taken down from my wall. You know what's funny? For years I thought keeping records was my way of proving I was worthy of their love. Turns out it was my subconscious preparing for war. Speaking of war, Imran's voice came through the speaker. Should I file those IRS reports now? I touched the photo one last time before dropping it in the trash. File everything. The dominoes fell faster than anyone expected. The bank's fraud department moved first, freezing the forged loan and triggering an internal investigation. Connor's contact at the bank was suspended pending review. Zachariah's business accounts were locked down. They're turning on each other, Sadie reported, bringing me the morning updates. Connor's lawyer contacted us. He wants to make a deal. Of course he does. I sipped my coffee, reviewing the latest emails. What's he offering? Full testimony against Zachariah in exchange for immunity from SEC investigation. My phone lit up. Alexis calling for the 12th time today. I let it go to voicemail. Ms. Deborah? My receptionist buzzed. The IRS agents are here for the meeting. Two stern-faced agents spent 3 hours going through Alexis's tax documents. They left with boxes of evidence and tight smiles. This is quite comprehensive, the senior agent commented. Most families don't keep such detailed records. Most families don't steal from each other, I replied. By afternoon, the situation had escalated. Imran called with updates. Your parents' pension fund is frozen pending investigation of co-mingled funds. Alexis's passport has been flagged. And Zachariah... He paused for effect. Zachariah just tried to empty your joint business account. The one I closed last week? Exactly. He's panicking. A knock on my office door interrupted us. Dad stood there, looking smaller than I'd ever seen him. Can we talk? His voice was rough. Just us? I gestured to the chair. He sat heavily, pulling out a handkerchief to wipe his forehead. Your mother doesn't know I'm here, he began. She's not handling things well. I imagine not. The bank called about the mortgage. They're reviewing our loan due to... He swallowed hard. Irregular payments. You mean the payments I made that you claimed were yours? He flinched. We never meant for things to go this far. Really? Because forging my signature on $1 million loan seems pretty far. That was Zachariah's idea. He said, Stop. I held up my hand. Every time something goes wrong, it's someone else's idea. Zachariah needed it. Mom insisted. The family required it. When does anyone take responsibility? We're your parents. No, you're my first lesson in financial abuse. His face crumpled. Please. The golf club was my whole social life. Your mother's friends are already whispering. If this gets out... It's already out, Dad. The IRS doesn't whisper. My phone buzzed. Imran again. Zachariah's trying to leave the country. Border Patrol's been notified. Dad heard it. His shoulders sagged. He always was reckless with money. We thought you could balance him out. By bankrupting me? By being the responsible one? He stood up suddenly. You were always so capable, so strong. We needed that. No, you needed my wallet. There's a difference. Another buzz. Sadie texting. Alexis just got served with IRS papers at her yoga class. She's having a meltdown on Instagram Live. Dad was still talking. Something about family legacy and blood being thicker than water. I cut him off. The trust fund money you diverted to Zachariah? That's criminal fraud. The forged loan, federal offense, Alexis's tax evasion, felony. This isn't about family anymore, Dad. This is about consequences. What do you want from us? His voice broke. Everything documented in those envelopes. Every dollar. Every cent. We'll lose the house. I lost my family. Seems fair? He left without another word, shoulders bent under the weight of reality. Minutes later, Mum called. "What have you done?" she hissed. "Your father's crying." Funny how that works. When I cried, you called it manipulation. The country club wives are already talking. Our reputation is exactly what you deserve. How's Zachariah's escape plan working out? She hung up. Seconds later, Alexis texted, "They're auditing my entire tax history. Fix this now." I forwarded it to Imran with a simple reply. Add tax fraud to her file. Sadie appeared with fresh coffee and a stack of newspapers. Local business section picked up the story. Family financial fraud scheme exposed. Want to read it? Not really. I stared out my office window at the city below. Any word from Connor? His lawyer delivered a full confession an hour ago, threw Zachariah completely under the bus. My phone buzzed one final time. A text from my mother. "You were never supposed to fight back. We never thought you had it in you." I showed it to Sadie, who snorted. They still think this is about fighting back. It's not? No, she smiled grimly. This is about justice, and justice doesn't need anyone's permission. I nodded, turning back to the window. Somewhere out there, my family was finally learning the true cost of their actions, and for the first time in years, I felt nothing but relief. The courthouse hallway buzzed with tension. My family sat on one side, their lawyers hovering nervously. Alexis kept dabbing at her mascara-streaked face, while Mum stared straight ahead, her designer outfit a size too loose now. Dad seemed to have aged a decade. Zachariah, released on bail after his failed escape attempt, couldn't meet anyone's eyes. Imran touched my arm. "Ready?" I smoothed my blazer. Born ready. The bailiff called us in. Judge Martinez had already reviewed the evidence, all 15 volumes of it. She peered at us over her reading glasses as we settled into our seats. "Before we begin," she said, "I want to be clear about something. In 20 years on the bench, I've seen every kind of financial fraud imaginable. But this," she held up a document, "this is something special." Zachariah's lawyer stepped forward. "Your Honor, we maintain that these were family arrangements, informal in nature." "Informal?" The judge cut him off. "A forged signature on a $1.2 million loan application is informal? Tax fraud is informal? Trust fund embezzlement is informal?" Mum made a small choking sound. "Let's start with the recordings," Judge Martinez continued, pressing play on a device. Zachariah's voice filled the courtroom. "Just forge her signature. She'll never check. She's too busy playing the perfect daughter." Connor's voice. "What if she finds out?" "She won't. And if she does, what's she gonna do? We're family." I watched Zachariah sink lower in his seat as his lawyer winced. Next came Alexis's tax documents. The judge methodically outlined years of deliberate fraud, while my sister's expensive lawyer tried to argue it was all a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding? Judge Martinez raised an eyebrow. She declared these as gifts to avoid taxes, while simultaneously documenting them as loans in her private records. That's not a misunderstanding, Counselor. That's premeditation. My parents' trust fund violations came next. Mom finally broke her silence. "We only borrowed from it," she burst out. "We were going to put it back." "Mrs. Sims," the judge's voice could have frozen fire, "you diverted retirement funds into unauthorized business ventures. That's embezzlement." The morning dragged on. Each piece of evidence was dissected. Each defense was dismantled. My family's lawyers looked increasingly desperate. Finally, Judge Martinez sat back. "I've heard enough. This court finds in favor of the plaintiff on all counts." The ruling was comprehensive. Zachariah faced criminal charges for the loan fraud. Alexis had to repay all back taxes plus penalties. My parents were ordered to repay every diverted dollar with interest. All assets were to be frozen until full restitution was made. "But we'll lose everything," Mum wailed. "Perhaps you should have thought of that before stealing from your daughter," the judge replied coldly. As we filed out, Alexis tried to approach me. "Debbie, please, my Instagram influencer career will be ruined. Should have thought about that before committing tax fraud." Zachariah's lawyer chased after Imran, trying to negotiate. "We can work something out." "Your client attempted to flee the country," Imran replied. "The only thing we're working out is his plea deal." In the courthouse lobby, Dad made one last attempt. "We're still your parents." "No." I finally turned to face them all. "Your defendants who happened to raise me. There's a difference." Mum stepped forward, tears streaming down her face. "How can you be so cold? After everything we've done for you." "Everything you've done to me," I corrected. "And this isn't cold. This is consequences." Outside, reporters waited with cameras. My family slunk out the back entrance while their lawyers made statements about appealing the decision. Sadie met me at the bottom of the courthouse steps with a coffee. "How do you feel?" Before I could answer, my phone rang. An international number. "Ms. Deborah, this is Marcus from Goldman Sachs. We've been following your case with interest. Would you be interested in consulting for our family wealth management division? We could use someone with your attention to detail." I caught Imran's eye. He nodded slightly. "I'm actually open for business again," I replied. "Let's talk." As we walked to the car, Sadie checked her phone. "Alexis's Instagram followers are dropping by the thousands. Zachariah's startup investors are pulling out. And your parents' country club just revoked their membership." "Karma's not just a concept," Imran commented. "It's a bookkeeper with excellent records." My phone buzzed one last time. A text from Mum. "We never thought you'd go this far." I showed it to Imran, who smiled. "They never thought you'd stand up for yourself at all. That was their biggest mistake." The car pulled away from the courthouse, leaving behind the ruins of what used to be called family. Ahead lay something better: freedom, justice, and the sweet satisfaction of perfectly balanced books. "Where to?" Sadie asked. "Goldman Sachs," I replied. Time to turn this mess into a message. The morning sun streamed through my home office windows as I reviewed the latest headlines over coffee. Financial consultant revolutionizes family wealth management. The Goldman Sachs position had evolved into something bigger, a complete overhaul of how families handle shared finances. My phone buzzed. Sadie was early today. "Turn on Channel 7, she said, without preamble. "Zachariah's sentencing." I flipped on the TV just in time to see my brother being led into court. The reporter's voice was crisp. "Former entrepreneur faces 3 to 5 years for financial fraud." Another buzz. Imran this time. "Have you seen the mail yet?" "Just getting to it." I sorted through the stack on my desk. Court notices, business proposals, and... oh, the foreclosure notices? Yes. 3 identical envelopes. My parents' house, Alexis's condo, Zachariah's startup office. "They're still trying to negotiate," Imran continued. "Your mother's lawyer called again. They're offering partial payment if you'll drop the criminal charges." "Not happening." That's what I told them. A knock at my door interrupted us. Sadie entered, carrying newspapers and a strange expression. "What is it?" "Your father's outside, alone." I considered this. "Send him in." Dad looked smaller than ever, his golf polo hanging loose on his frame. He held a manila envelope. "I found these," he said quietly, pulling out old photographs. "From when you were little. If this is another guilt trip..." "No." He spread them on my desk. "Look, your 5th birthday. You set up a pretend bank in the backyard, gave everyone little checkbooks made of construction paper." I remembered. I'd even charged interest on my teddy bear's accounts. "You were always good with money," he continued. "We took advantage of that, twisted it, used it against you." "Dad, let me finish." His hands trembled. "Your mother still doesn't understand. She's talking about appeal lawyers she can't afford. Alexis is trying to monetize her cancellation story on social media. Zachariah, he shook his head, but I understand now. My phone buzzed again. The Goldman Sachs team with updates on our new family financial literacy program. I ignored it. What do you understand? That we taught you the wrong lessons about love, made it transactional, conditional. He pulled out one final photo, me at my college graduation, beaming with pride. We should have been proud of who you were, not what you could give us. It's a bit late for that. I know. He stood up. I'm not asking for forgiveness or money. Just wanted you to know that someone in this family finally gets it. After he left, Sadie brought in more mail. The restitution checks are starting to arrive. Alexis sold her designer collection. Your mum's auctioning her jewellery. And the family financial literacy program? Waitlisted 3 months out. Turns out lots of families need help setting healthy boundaries with money. My phone lit up with a news alert. Social media influencer faces tax fraud penalties. Below it, a picture of Alexis leaving the IRS office. I opened my desk drawer, pulled out 4 crisp envelopes. Each contained a check for exactly $1 and a post-it note. Paid in full. Send these, I told Sadie, 1 to each of them. Petty, she grinned. I love it. The TV was still running in the background. They were interviewing a financial psychology expert. The case highlights how money often becomes a substitute for genuine family bonds. I turned it off, looking instead at the photo Dad had left, little me with my pretend bank. The teddy bears had been better customers than my family. Goldman Sachs is on line 1, Sadie announced. They want to discuss expanding the program internationally. Put them through. I picked up the phone, but my eye caught the last family photo I'd kept, all of us at that dinner where everything changed, where they showed their true colours. Ms. Deborah? The Goldman executive's voice crackled. About the expansion? Yes, I said, turning the photo face down. Let's talk about helping other families avoid our mistakes. Sadie gathered the foreclosure notices, court documents, and restitution checks into neat piles. Want me to send those dollar bills by certified mail? Make them sign for it? No, I smiled. Regular mail is fine. They've signed enough papers. My phone buzzed one last time. A group text from Mum. The country club is auctioning our membership. Please reconsider. I deleted it without responding. Some debts can't be repaid with money. Some lessons need to hurt to be learned. And some families need to be dismantled to be understood. Ready for the Goldman call? Sadie asked. Ready. I straightened my papers. Let's help other families learn what mine never could, that love and money should never share an account,